Two of the best-selling bottled waters in America are municipal tap water, not spring water, not glacier water, public water supply, run through a purification process, bottled and sold at a markup that runs into the thousands of %. That is not a secret, and it is not an accusation. It is printed on the label, in a phrase most people have never decoded, from a public water source or purified drinking water. Both companies have acknowledged it publicly. The information has been there the whole time. 7 things in the bottled water aisle worth understanding, and 3 that genuinely make sense. Number 1 is the most common bottle in the country, and the entire product is a distribution business rather than a water business. The usual note: everything here comes from federal labeling definitions, published testing, company statements, and the labels on the bottles. Where the science is unsettled, I will say so. I am describing regulation and evidence, not accusing anyone of a crime. First, the categories. Because the words on these bottles are legally defined and almost nobody knows the definitions. Spring water must come from an underground formation that flows naturally to the surface, and it must be collected at the spring or through a borehole tapping that same formation. That is a real requirement with a real geological meaning. Purified water is water that has been treated by distillation, deionization, reverse osmosis, or similar to meet a purity standard. Where it started does not matter. It is frequently municipal supply. Mineral water must contain a minimum level of dissolved solids from its source, and nothing may be added. Artesian water comes from a confined aquifer under pressure. Distilled is a specific process. Every one of those terms is defined. The trick, if there is one, is that the packaging imagery is not a mountain, a stream, and a pine forest can legally appear on a bottle of processed tap water, because a photograph is not a claim. Number 7. Purified drinking water and the mountain on the label. Start where the gap is widest. If the label says purified, the source is legally irrelevant, and in the largest American brands, it is frequently a municipal supply. The purification is genuine and the water is safe. But you are buying treatment and packaging, not provenance. Look for the source statement, which is usually on the back in the smallest legible type. From a public water source is the phrase. It tells you exactly what you are holding, and it sits directly beneath a photograph of a glacier. Number 6. Alkaline, ionized, and structured water. This is the fastest growing premium segment, and the one with the weakest support. Alkaline water has a higher pH. The claims attached to it, that it neutralizes acidity in the body, improves hydration, or slows aging, run well ahead of the evidence. Your stomach maintains a strongly acidic environment by design, and the body regulates blood pH within a narrow range regardless of what you drink. There is some research interest in specific applications, and I am not going to tell you the field is closed. What I will say is that the marketing has outrun the science by a wide margin, and structured or hexagonal water in particular has no accepted scientific basis at all. Number 5. Microplastics and the honest state of the evidence. In 2024, researchers using a new imaging technique reported that a liter of bottled water contained on the order of hundreds of thousands of plastic particles vastly more than earlier methods had detected, because the new method could see nanoplastics that previous work missed. That finding is real, and it was published in a major journal. Here is what it does not establish: the health consequences. We do not yet have good evidence on what those particles do inside a body, and the honest position is uncertainty rather than alarm. What can be said is comparative. Bottled water consistently tests higher for plastic particles than tap water, which makes sense given the packaging. If you want to reduce exposure while the science develops, the lever is obvious, and it is not an expensive filter. Number 4. Water with an expiration date. Water does not expire. What can degrade is the container. Plastic bottles are permeable over long periods and stored warm in a car, a garage, a shed. They can impart taste compounds to the water. That is the real reason for the date, alongside stock rotation. The practical consequence is about storage rather than shelf life. A case of water left in a hot car for a week is a different product from the same case kept cool, and it is why bottled water sometimes tastes of plastic when it did not before. Number 3. Enhanced, vitamin, and flavored waters. Turn the bottle and read the panel, because this category frequently stops being water. Many enhanced waters carry added sugars, sometimes at levels comparable to a soft drink, along with sweeteners, acids, colors, and small doses of vitamins that most people already get from food. The bottle is transparent, and the liquid is clear, and both of those things read as healthy in a way the nutrition panel does not support. If it has a flavor, read the added sugars line. That single check reclassifies a great many of these products. Number 2. The cost per gallon nobody calculates. This is the arithmetic that reframes the entire aisle. Municipal tap water in most American cities costs a fraction of a cent per gallon. Bottled water sold in single-serve packs works out to a price per gallon comparable to, and frequently exceeding, petrol. You are not paying for the water. You are paying for the bottle, the label, the refrigeration, the truck that moved a heavy liquid across a country, and the shelf it sat on. That is a legitimate service with real costs, and it is genuinely valuable when you are away from a tap. It stops being value when it becomes the default at home, which is where most of the volume is consumed. Number 1. The case of single-serve bottles in the pantry. Everything converges here. A case of small plastic bottles, purchased weekly, stored at home, drunk at home, next to a tap that delivers the same substance for effectively nothing. The water is safe, the convenience is real, and the environmental cost of the packaging is substantial. I want to be fair, because this is where these videos usually turn preachy. If your tap water tastes bad, or you have genuine reason to distrust it, an old building with lead service lines, a private well you have not tested, a boil notice, bottled water is a reasonable answer, and nobody should feel lectured for buying it. What is worth examining is the default. Most households buying cases are not solving a water quality problem. They are buying a delivery format at roughly 1,000 times the cost of the alternative sitting in the kitchen. Before the 3 that make sense, here are 2 checks that take seconds. The first is the source line. Find it on the back and read it. Spring water names a spring. Purified water tells you it was treated, and if it says public water source, you are drinking treated tap. The second is the added sugars line, on anything with a flavor. Clear liquid in a clear bottle is not evidence of anything. And one at home. If your tap water tastes unpleasant, fill a jug and refrigerate it overnight uncovered. Much of what people dislike is chlorine, which dissipates. That costs nothing, and it resolves the complaint for a great many households. Now the three that make sense. Real 1. A filter and a refillable bottle. For home use, this is the whole answer. A carbon filter, pitcher, tap-mounted, or under sink, removes chlorine taste and some contaminants at a cost per gallon that rounds to nothing next to bottled. Add a stainless or glass bottle, and the ongoing cost is a replacement cartridge every few months. Real 2. Bottled water, where it genuinely belongs. Travel, emergencies, events, places without safe supply, and situations where a tap is not available. This is what the product is actually good at, and buying it for those situations is sensible rather than wasteful. Keep a case for emergencies. Rotate it. That is a real use. Real 3. Mineral water bought for what it actually is. If you like sparkling mineral water for the taste, the minerals, or as a substitute for something sweeter, that is a genuine preference, and the product delivers on it. Mineral water has a defined meaning. The source is named, and you are buying something that tap water is not. Just buy it knowingly, as a drink you enjoy, rather than as hydration insurance. Your aisle routine takes about 10 seconds. Ignore the mountain, the glacier, and the words pure and natural. Find the source line and read it. If it says purified or public water source, you are buying treated tap in a bottle. Check added sugars on anything flavored, and ask yourself where you will actually drink it, because that answers the question better than the label does. Here is the honest close. Bottled water is not a scam. It is safe, it is convenient, it is essential in emergencies, and in places where tap water genuinely is not reliable. It is a lifeline rather than a luxury. What is worth refusing is the framing. A photograph of a mountain on a bottle of municipal water, a health claim about pH that the body's own chemistry contradicts, and a price per gallon that exceeds fuel, sold as a daily necessity for people who already have safe water in the kitchen. Read the source line. It is on every bottle, and it settles the question in about 2 seconds.